Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and this is our weekly TV news show where we talk about all the things that happen in TV news. Well, I shouldn't say all, because someone's going to sue us when they go through all the news in the week
No one's gonna bother suing us.
and say, no, you didn't talk about that thing, you didn't talk about that thing. It is curated. This is a highly curated list of important news that's interesting to talk about.
And then the odd thing that you put in there just to be annoying.
Yes. So yeah, we have renewals, we have cancellations, and so on and so on. Premiere dates, new shows in development, all that kind of thing. That's what we talk about. And then at the end of the show, we'll pick our favorite episode of TV of the week. If there's enough to pick from, which there is at the moment. So there's two things to pick from.
Yes, there is.
Three if
There's
you're
a
me.
clear winner, but there is two things.
Yes, that's true. So that's what's going to happen. So without further ado, we will dive right into this week's news. Speaking of one of those choices, Castle Rock has been renewed for season 2 at Hulu. What's interesting is that the interview with the Hulu exec specifically said it'll be a wholly original story in season 2. So it's
implying that this isn't.
Well, I think what he means. I mean, maybe that implies that this season 1 isn't, but I think what they're getting at is that it's more anthology style. We weren't sure, I think, before if it was going to actually like reset to a new set of characters every season.
Yeah.
But it seems like it sounds. I mean, it never outright says that, but it kind of sounds like that's where it's going.
What is really going to happen is this Henry stuff and the kid that'll all be sorted, and we'll just follow Jane Levi for season 2.
That's the hope. That's the hope. Don't lose Jane Levi. She's your secret weapon, right? She's your secret weapon. But cool. So we've been enjoying the show. It's fun pulp. So
it is, yeah.
So yeah, that's good news. Next up, Anne with an E has been renewed for season 3 by Netflix and CBC. So I know people like that show. That's been getting good buzz since it started a couple of years ago. So that's Anne with an E. Also renewed. Here's one that we tried the pilot of. Nightfall has been renewed for season 2.
It has, with some interesting casting too.
Yes. Mark Hamill has been added to the cast for season 2. He's going to play Talus, a battle-hardened Knight Templar, veteran of the Crusades, who survived captivity for 10 years in the Holy Land and is tasked with training new initiates into the Order.
Sounds like a good role for him.
I hated that first episode. I have no interest.
I didn't. I can still see myself going back at some point. If you're telling me Mark Hamill's going to be in it doing basically the Jedi Master thing, just without the Force, I'm not opposed to watching that.
You're such a Star Wars mark.
I am. I know.
God damn it.
But I like that show in concept anyway. So
yeah, I was bored to tears.
Yeah, I know, but I'm a I'm a Star Wars nut mark, but I'm a sucker for Templar shit as well, Crusades, all that sort of stuff. It fascinates me.
Well,
what do you say?
Here's some things that aren't almost cancelled; they just are cancelled. Shooter has been cancelled after 3 seasons at USA Network. Why are you shaking your head? That was a fine.
That was an atrocious shilling when they're already here.
I'm just playing with the name a little bit and doing some connective tissue. That's fine.
I'll be honest, I don't know what this show is though. Shooter.
Well, based on the movie, the Mark Wahlberg movie.
Oh, I got a TV show. I don't remember this at all.
We have spoken about this multiple times in the news, but
probably every time if it's been renewed or whatever.
Yes. God damn it. Yeah.
I just clearly don't give a shit about whatever this show is.
It's been cancelled. Apparently, the production company is going to shop it around. So it might pop up elsewhere. But
let it be gone. Good riddance. What do I care?
There's a really hardcore Shooter fan watching this going like, damn you, Connor, how dare you. I love that show.
Tell me why.
So also not cancelled, that's only cancellation. We have some premiere dates though. So Outlander season 4 is going to premiere on November 4th on Stars. So if you're watching that show, that's when season 4 is hitting. Star Wars Resistance is going to premiere October 7th on the Disney Channel. That's the new animated Star Wars show. There was a minute-long trailer which Connor made me. I wasn't going to watch. I wasn't even mention the trailer.
Yeah, but you didn't watch the Clone Wars one, so this is your punishment.
Yeah, I watched this one, and I don't know what I accomplished by watching it.
Just I thought you might hate it, and I get some satisfaction from that.
I wouldn't say I hated it. It looks like an animated Star Wars show.
Yeah. I mean, the style of animation is drastically different from the past two shows, which I think is worth noting.
Is it? Never seen the last
Yeah.
two
Have
shows.
you not seen any snippets, pictures at
I
all?
probably
Of
did
it?
at some point, but I mean, not enough to leave a lasting impression.
No, fair. No, it is. I mean, there was a shift between Clone Wars and Rebels, and people hated that then because change. That people were like, oh, it looks too kid friendly now. And then, by the end of that, most people were quite happy with Rebels, and were sad to see it go. And now this has come out, and the animation style shifted again, and people have gone, oh, it looks too kid friendly. I don't care about this. So I'm sure I'll give it a couple of years. People will be like, I want it back.
It did nothing for me. There was nothing about it. It was like, oh,
Yeah.
you're a pilot, you know.
Pilots, spies in the Resistance.
Yeah. What's his face from the movies in it? Well, he's not his actor, but it's the.
No, it is. Yeah, it's
Is
him.
it? It's Oscar
Yeah.
Isaac.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, it's him. They've got, I believe they've got Gwendolyn Christie there as well for Phasma.
All right. Okay. But
Don't know how much either of them will be in it. Admittedly, it might be just like first.
there was a
episode.
lot of them in the trailer, but it might just be all first episode clips.
It could be just first episode setup, but I mean, they're going for a little bit at least.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're a Star Wars fan who wants more animated Star Wars shows, then have at it.
And it's not too far away, so I'm excited for that.
I will not be touching it. Thank you very much. So,
You want to review the first episode.
no, I don't. Also, premiere date plus a trailer. The Romanoffs, which is the Amazon show. This is from Matt Weiner, the Mad Men creator. This is coming on October 12th, which is the week that Connor's away. So don't expect. I mean, I might do the first episode myself, possibly, but don't expect the two of us to do one because Connor's on vacation that week.
Yeah, I am. I ain't apologizing for that. This trailer, it was fine. I mean, I don't really know what the show is. It doesn't really help.
No, do I?
So-
I mean, it looks like a quirky drama. That's what it looks like.
Look, all I'm saying is, it doesn't look special enough to make me regret going on holiday.
I wasn't annoyed that you're missing this. I'm just annoyed that you're messing up the schedule in general by going away for a week. That's the real.
Yeah, well,
upsetness.
you know who to blame.
Yes. Yes, I do know who to blame, and she's on my
It's
hit
not
list.
me. Yeah, I know. Just want to make it clear. It's not my concern.
He's going to go and murder my girlfriend later, but it's not my concern. It's fine. It's fine. Not gunning for me. That's all I care about.
Holiday's already paid off, so I'll go either way.
I mean, the trailer's kind of fine. It sells the quirkiness. I think more than anything, it's saying, look at all the cast we've got. Look at how many of them are, and look at how many you recognise.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, oh look, it's 3 continents, 7 countries, eight stories. I'm like, okay, this could feel really bloated.
It could do. I'm thinking it's going to go for that. You know, you get those movies where you'll have like the 3 ongoing stories, but none of them ever actually connect. It's just they're all thematically linked. I feel like that's what this is going to be. It's going to be over the 8-10 episodes, whatever it is. There'll be, a few scenes of each plot per episode, and
Yeah,
that'd be my guess. But
just 8 seems like a lot.
it does, unless it's just like one story per episode, which would be
If
interesting.
it's that, then fair enough.
Yeah.
But and maybe it is, but I feel like that would be weird. I'd
Are
be
we-
surprised that they haven't marketed it as that.
Nah, so I don't know. I'm not immediately drawn in by it. Mad Men was a quality made show that I kind of lost interest in season 2, and I kind of fell away from it and didn't come back. And people love Mad Men. People will always tell me to go back. And maybe I will someday. I don't know, but
But the reality is, you're on your own that week with nothing to do, and no one to record with all weekend. So maybe you will.
so maybe I will do the first episode. Yeah, we'll see. It depends. If Netflix launch something on that Friday that I have to do on my own, the
Priorities,
Romanoffs might get
obviously, 'cause,
shafted.
We're still half expecting something.
The Haunting of Hill House. So I'm still half expecting that on that day. So,
It's due around then.
so we'll see what happens. But that's the Romanoffs. But yeah, I may give it a try. We'll see. All right. So moving on, we got our Spock for Star Trek Discovery season 2 because we knew we were going to see him next season, and we have Ethan Peck has been cast. He's a TV actor. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He was in Gossip Girl, 10 Things I Hate About You, and oddly that 70s show. I'm assuming he was quite young in that. If he, because all these other things feel a bit more recent.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. Literally, all I know is his grandson Gregory Peck.
Yes, that's his claim to fame. Not all these other things that he's done. Just your
That's literally all I know about.
yeah.
I know he's in other stuff. I know he's a relatively established actor in his own right. Don't be wrong.
He's done a lot of TV shows, which is that's not an insult. It's just it's a lot of TV shows that I mean I've seen that '70s show, but not I wasn't a religious viewer of it.
That's the thing. It's the sort of thing where I imagine people who've seen these shows might well recognize him and be able to speak to who how he is. But I've not seen him in anything, unfortunately.
But yeah, so he's going to be Spock in season 2.
Cool.
So,
I know he's got the approval of Nimoy's family.
oh, cool.
They did a big statement, pictures and stuff together, and like, yeah, no, they're down with the choice.
I did not know that. That's cool. Not a lot to say. Just to say they've got a Spock, and that's coming. The fact that they're only casting him now or announcing it now makes me think it'll be the latter half of the season before we actually see him in the show.
It's fine.
Which is fine, but we already have a trailer for the season 2.
And it implies that okay, we're not going to see him straight away.
It implies that season 2 is going to be the search for Spock.
Very good.
Like Star Trek 3, the search for Spock, just in case you didn't get that.
Anyway, just, didn't want to give you any more acknowledgement.
So we got some more casting as well. The untitled space drama that's coming from Apple, notably by Ronald D. Moore, who ran Battlestar Galactica, which is why it's on my anticipated list.
I'm just saying, untitled space drama. Like, which one was this? Apple have had too many shows for me to keep track of.
I was getting to the Ronald D. Moore being the signifier here, but I was getting to that. So they've got some casting. They've cast Joel Kinnaman, who we saw in Altered Carbon. He was in The Killing and a bunch of stuff. They've cast Patriot star Michael Dorman and Damnation co-star Sarah Jones. They've cast all 3 of them in this show, whatever it may be.
I mean, okay, some names, I guess.
Yeah. Apparently, it's going to revolve around what would happen if the global space race had never ended. So,
it's reasonably interesting.
Yeah, no.
Joel Kinnaman's less interesting, admittedly.
I think he's fine in a certain type of role. So,
yeah. But the problem is the role that he's fine in is ultimately usually just a character that I'm relatively uninterested in.
As long as he's not
my lead.
Yeah, but if it's an ensemble, does that matter as much?
No, it doesn't. I just when his name sticks out above others, I assume he's going to be the lead.
Why do you assume there's a lead though in this?
I don't necessarily. I'm just saying,
yeah.
If there's going to be one,
I don't think there is. This sounds like an ensemble to me.
Okay.
Because it says all 3 of them were cast as leads.
Yeah, fair enough.
So, no. But Ronald D. Moore's in a space show, so shut up. This will be good. Better be good. I'll be upset. So, this is coming.
Demand your money back from Apple otherwise.
Aye, basically.
Which you'll never get, because Apple ain't giving up anything.
Aye, because Apple are awful. Yeah, I agree with this. So that's the thing. Moving on, we have a new sitcom. So here's the thing: we're actually starting to get pilot orders and development stuff for the networks now.
That time of year already.
We're starting to. It feels a bit early to me, but again, it's August. We're getting towards fall. It makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like they don't usually start till the full season starts. But
we don't have a lot of them yet, but there's a few of them trickling in now.
Starting to trickle in. Okay.
So, husband and wife comedy duo Tom Segura and Christina Pazitsky have landed a pilot order at CBS for a multi-camera comedy. It's called The Little Things. The series is a family comedy that focuses on the funny coping mechanisms that you get through the harder parenting dilemmas. Segura and Pazitsky will star in the series, as well as write and executive produce. So it's just a family comedy based on a comedian's life. What's notable here, though, is that both parents are the comedians that are writing it, as opposed to just the one parent. Because, like Everybody Loves Raymond, stuff like that. It's all it's based on his comedy about his family, and he plays the guy who's basically him with a family around him. I guess it's kind of interesting that both parents are actually a real married couple, and they're both writing the show.
Yeah, I suppose.
There's something to that. I'm not saying it's quite good.
The closest I could think of is maybe like The Big Sick.
Yeah, I mean, hell, if it even gets half as good as that, then they're onto something.
Yeah, and I'm not saying it will be. And obviously that wasn't like a family thing, but just it was the pair of them writing it together.
Yeah. So I mean, I can see why. I mean, obviously the concept itself is a family sitcom, and their parents. It's straightforward.
Yeah, I mean, it's nothing to judge on, right?
Yeah, and I don't know those names to know if they're funny. I don't know if
I'm familiar with the guy vaguely.
vaguely.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some of his stuff in the past.
All right, here's some interesting stuff then. Watchmen has officially been ordered to series
Cool.
at HBO.
Surprising no one, I'm sure.
Nah, it's not surprising. Damon Lindelof, of course, is the one behind it. The cast includes, this is a long list. We knew about a lot of these names. Some of them obviously are just smaller that didn't get like proper news items, but Regina King, Jeremy Irons, Don Johnson, Tim Blake Nelson, Louis Gossett Jr., Yahya Abdul Martin II. What a name! That's a great name. Adelaide Clemens, Andrew Howard, Tom Misen, Francis Fisher, Jacob Ming Trent, Sarah Vickers, Dylan Schmombing. What a name as well. Some gems in this list. Lily Rose Smith, and then Adeline Spoon. Spoon's actually funny for its own reasons. So
yeah. It's a long cast list. It's going to be a big sprawling thing, I'm sure.
I feel like it will be. What the official word for the moment is just this: Watchmen embraces the nostalgia of the original groundbreaking graphic novel while attempting to break new ground of its own. That's not telling us very much. It's kind of just going along with what Lindelof said like 6 months ago when he was asked about it. And
yeah, honestly, the only surprise to me from this news story is it took as long as it did to get this announcement.
I think it's because they went through the pilot process. We knew they were working on a pilot. They got a pilot order, and then it went to this. So I guess what you're saying is it didn't get straight to series. It went through the pilot process
even the
first.
fact that I feel like they were shooting the pilot quite a while ago now. So maybe that took longer than I expected it to, or maybe they weren't. And it took them a little bit to decide afterwards.
Well, I mean, the announcement that we're doing a pilot was a while ago. How long ago was the actual pilot?
I know. I remember seeing them saying they were shooting the pilot this week.
Oh, okay.
Like it was a while ago now. A few months at least.
I don't know if that strikes me as that. I mean, especially, it's different with network TV because they have such a strict schedule that they're working to where this is when they order the pilots, this is when they greenlight the series they pick from the pilots, and this is, like they have like set deadlines.
It felt like quite a while for what is probably an hour pilot, right?
They're not adhering to this strict schedule that network TV does, therefore they have no deadline to make the decision by. So for them, it's more about just making the right decision. They just, they may have
absolutely. I'm just like I said, this is Watchmen. It's that name. We've been expecting it to be picked up pretty much the whole time, and I'm just surprised it took as long as it did.
It's probably just negotiating what it was going to cost.
It may well have been just that, yeah.
Lindelof said, "I want 10 million per episode, budget wise," and they're like, "No, we'll give you 7. No, I don't like that. Give me 9. No, we'll give you 8.
Let's
8.
be honest.
5.
If he goes, it'll be your next Westworld. They'll give him 10.
USA Network has ordered Treadstone. If you remember what Treadstone is,
I do not.
Should
I?
You should probably think of what Treadstone is based on, because it's based on something from something. So Treadstone, the word, just might mean something to you.
I don't think it does.
Bourne.
You're going to say something. Okay.
Bourne, Treadstone. That was the project that created Bourne and the other agents. This is the Bourne TV show set in the Bourne universe.
Without Bourne, presumably.
Without Bourne. The series was originally ordered to pilot in April. I remember talking about that.
I do too.
A second ago, you were like, "What's Treadstone?"
I don't remember the name. I remember talking about the story.
Okay. So Operation Treadstorm, it's a CIA Black Ops program. It was the one that created the super spy Jason Bourne. The covert program uses behavior modification protocol to turn recruits into nearly superhuman assassins. The first season follows sleeper agents across the globe as they're mysteriously awakened to resume their deadly missions.
Yeah.
I really like the Bourne trilogy. Legacy was just kind of mediocre. The one that brought back Matt Damon and Paul Greengrass, the director, was oddly underwhelming and kind of weak and kind of a shame and disappointing. But the reason why I like that first Bourne trilogy, specifically 2 and 3, which I think are the better ones, is because of how it's done, how it's directed, the style, how it tackles the genre. You telling me there's just going to be a generic spy show? All I'm seeing is a generic spy show.
Yeah, could be good, but could be generic, like you say.
Yeah, there's nothing to really go on.
There's not. They're banking on name association.
The Bourne property as a concept is not what excites me about that series at all.
No, absolutely not.
It's how it was directed, how it was shot, how the pacing was achieved. All those things. It's the filmmaking that made those good.
I stand by the first one being the best.
I can't agree with that. The 2 and 3 were a lot more visceral. The first one was too concerned about being more of a classic spy movie, I think, for me.
I think that's why I liked it the most.
Yeah. Whereas 2 and 3 were a bit more no. Now we're happening, we're moving. It's the hustle and bustle.
They were a lot quicker.
Yeah. It was even the music. The music in the first one even felt like a bit more classic spy.
It did. It was a lot more subtle and subterfuge stuff, right?
Yeah, it had that thing. It was like a really muted horn was playing this little theme. It was very spy-like. But anyway, moving on, we got here's an interesting one. So a video game came out this year called Vampyr, which is just vampire spelled with a Y. I think it's still supposed to just say vampire, but I like to specify that it's different by going vampire.
No, they kept saying Vampyr in all the the interviews they did around the game when the game came out.
Because that was the thing. In the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the manual that we always see in the opening titles was spelt with a Y, and no one ever thought anything of it. But there's an episode in season 7 of Buffy where Andrew's making a documentary and he pronounces it Vampyr, and he comes off as a pompous little shit because he's saying it that way. So I think of him whenever I say Vampyr. That's
the thing. When this game came out and I was saying, "Oh, I'm playing Vampyr," I felt like I just sounded like a dick. Right? I mean, I
you
get
often
that
do
every so often anyway. Yeah, see, but even more so than usual, I sounded pretentious. I don't think I usually sound pretentious, a dick, sure, but not always pretentious. But I did whenever I said that.
But Fox 21 Television Studios has optioned the rights. And it was competitive, apparently. And McGee's Wonderland Sound and Vision and DJ2 Entertainment are also on board here to develop this as a TV show. McGee's going to direct, presumably just the pilot. I don't think he's going to direct the whole thing. But to be fair, McGee did direct the pilot for like Supernatural and I think Chuck, which both turned out pretty well. Chuck especially, I love that show. Supernatural was really solid, and then I stopped watching it because it never ended.
Yeah, and let's not forget last year also he made The Babysitter,
which was actually a really good movie, easily his best movie. So you know, there you go. But hey, so set in 1918 London, Vampyr revolves around a morally righteous doctor who mysteriously turns into How's it mysterious? Like, surely it's just...
He doesn't know what happened. He kind of wakes up after the fact.
Right, I've not played the game yet, so fair enough. I assumed it's just, I get bit by a vampire. that's how it happened.
At the start of the game, he doesn't understand what's happened to him.
He mysteriously turns into a vampire and is now torn between his solemn commitment to save lives and his insatiable urge to feed. With a deadly virus spreading that he can only cure, the doctor must decide who to kill in his tight-knit community to stay alive long enough to save everyone from certain death. So I've been interested in playing this. I will probably do so later in the year when I've got when the other games calm down a little bit. Because I've heard the combat's kind of rough, but what's interesting is the moral dilemmas. It's the choosing who to kill. It's learning about people and then seeing if they're a good person. Okay, do you feel good about killing them? Or even the idea in the game, I think you can kill street beggars, but you get less health from them.
Yeah, so you don't get health from in the game. You don't get health from biting them. Yeah, what you get is you get experience. So of course you can get experience through the combat, but if you're feeling underleveled, you take a quick snack on one of your mates. And the better you know someone, the more experience you get. But of course, the better you know someone, the more guilty you feel about eating them.
Yeah, so do you feed in your patients? Do you feed in your colleagues? So on and so forth. So these mechanics all sound really interesting, and you can kind of see how that can become an interesting show. If you're doing a vampire show, where unlike Buffy, where they just lose their soul and they're just evil incarnate once they've turned, with the exception, of course, of Angel, because he had a soul. That was the whole thing. Here, he's not just an evil person. He's still got his morals. He's still conscious of everything he's doing, and he has to make the choice what to do. I'm seeing almost a Victorian Dexter style show, but he happens to be a vampire. That's what I'm getting from this.
No, that's a good analogy.
Yeah. So I can see potential in that. I think that could work.
I think it's the game's strengths. Its biggest strengths are in its dialogue. So that should translate to TV really nicely.
What you're saying is he doesn't just walk around and goes, "I want to suck your blood."
No, absolutely not. He's a well-respected doctor. He specializes in blood transfusions. Ironically enough.
I never drink wine.
You done?
That was a quote from the 1931 Dracula starring Bela Lugosi for anyone who wasn't following that one. But before your time, but before my time, admittedly as well.
I should hope so. Maybe there's a reason you never see sunlight.
Very, very few people still kicking who are around
Almost
31.
certainly no one watching this.
I don't know. Maybe have some old people watching. You don't know that.
Well, let us know, but I'd be surprised.
Because even if you were born in 31, you're pushing it now in terms of age.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you've had a good run. If you were born in 31 and you're still alive, you've had a good damn run.
I have. Yeah, not bad.
But anyway, let's move on. So Vampyr sounds interesting. But next up, The Alienist. We did the first episode of that. We talked about that when it was coming out, and we were kind of let down by the first episode. We thought it was kind of dull. There was some potential in there, but it felt kind of ho-hum to us, so we didn't cover it and continue it. But TNT has not renewed it. They have ordered a sequel limited series to it, bringing back the cast. Because there's a book that was a sequel. It was a sequel book.
Why?
It's not a season 2. It's a sequel called The Angel of Darkness.
This is just so they can market it from scratch because it didn't do well enough.
Actually, I've got another reason why it might be. Well, I mean, to their credit, I get why it feels like this is the better option. Like, there's a sequel. It was a limited thing. Then we'll do another limited thing, about 8, 10 episodes, whatever it is. But here's something that's interesting, and this might be part of the reasoning why they're saying, no, it's not a season 2. This is a separate limited series. It's a sequel. The first season, The Alienist, was nominated for Best Miniseries or Limited Series at various award shows, and it was confirmed after this news that at least one of them wasn't going to declassify it because of this. And I'm wondering if they specifically chose this wording because they're still eligible for all those awards that they get nominated for. It's fine.
I'll be honest, if I was those awards people, I'd be like, nah, screw you.
To be honest, I don't even feel like why they would care. I feel like some of their reasoning for other, like, what's a limited series and what's not, kind of baffles me at times. Like, they're very sketchy.
Yeah, they are.
Like, because I think Fargo seasons get counted as limited series, which...
They do, because they're anthology, yeah.
But, I mean, it's still the same show with the same writer behind it. Like, it's not like, you know...
Yeah, I think it's just defining it as something that tells a single story over one season, and that's it.
But this is the same characters coming back. This is actually a continuation with those characters.
Yes, which would stop it being eligible because it's not the start of I think the difference with Fargo is that's the start of the story each season. Like there might be a character here in a different from a different time that we've seen before, but it's one story and that's it each season.
Because if you're only counting this as 2 separate shows, then anything that has season-long arcs would almost count as separate shows every season.
Yeah.
So yeah, the sequel, which I didn't get much information about the article, Angel of Darkness, but I did look up the book on I think Wiki and got a description here. So, set in 1897, Dr. Laszlo Kreisler's associate, Sarah Howard, now a private detective, I think that was Fanning's character, comes to him for help locating Ana Linares, the kidnapped infant daughter of a visiting Spanish dignitary. The mystery is complicated by rising tensions between Spain and the US, and a war in Cuba seems inevitable. Kreisler reconvenes his old team, Sarah, John, MIP detectives, for a forensic specialist. Marcus, what was that noise? I had a clang.
Yeah, something just knocked when I was...
Yeah, that was you, okay. So unprofessional, Connor. Come on, get with the program.
It fell. Something fell.
Hi, your dignity fell. So
it's just a ghost.
So yeah, so they get everyone together again. The band gets back together. The search for the missing child leads them to contact with an enigmatic woman with a murderous past who enjoys the protection of the Hudson Dusters, a notorious gang is what I was trying to say there. So yeah, it's a sequel with the same characters. New case.
Yeah, I really don't care.
Yeah, I don't care either. I don't like the first episode. I had no interest in going back and watching the rest of it. So
yeah, no, that's a shame.
But if people liked it, they're getting a sequel, so that's good news. You're getting, because they're relatively big actors. These are all movie actors that are getting back for a season 2.
They are, yeah.
So
which was, I think that's the real reason that they're still doing it as limited seasons as well, is that it'll be in the contract. They only have to get them for one season at a time. Like, there's no even hint of negotiations. They go, we'll do one, and then we'll come out and see if we can negotiate again after. They don't have to try and push for
basically means
renewal clauses or anything.
The actors are guaranteed to get paid more each time because they're getting new contracts every time.
Yeah.
So you know. Hey, so moving on. Netflix has ordered a 10-episode series called What If, and that's what/if, the way it's written, and that's going to star Renee Zellweger. The series revolves around the ripple effects of what happens when acceptable people start doing unacceptable things. That doesn't tell us a whole lot, admittedly. The project comes from showrunner Mike Kelly, who worked on Revenge, and producer Robert Zemeckis. That's interesting. And it's Warner Bros. TV who are behind it. The concept calls for each season to tackle a different morality tale, inspired by culturally consequential source material. That's a really vague phrase. It sounds like it's an anthology, which kind of makes sense with Renee Zellweger being a star. It's like, okay, we can get a different movie star every season, you know.
Yeah.
And being inspired by culturally consequential source material, that's very vague to me, but what it sounds like is that every season is based on some sort of true story of some kind.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it necessarily has to be true story.
Oh yeah, not necessarily true, but like I feel like, do you know about sometimes we get those shows that are based on articles about some sort of topic? I feel like this is one of those things where it could be like a newspaper article that they're basing a season on.
What was the exact wording again? Say it one more time.
Inspired by cultural. I can't say culturally properly. I'm sorry. Culturally.
That was the worst yet.
Culturally consequential source material.
Yeah, I wonder if that could just include like, you know, that this was a really important novel that was published.
Oh, sure, you know, maybe.
So we can be inspired by that.
Yeah.
But then, like you say, news articles as well, like maybe true events of.
I mean, I think
this changed the world.
I think the fact that it's called What If I'm taking a leap here, but I'm saying what if like something went different, right? So it's not so much just like an alternate universe sci-fi thing, but like, you know, let's say they're going to tackle, I don't know, birth rights, right? You know, they're abortion rights, right? And they said, what if this became outlawed? So the story's about.
Yeah, it doesn't quite fit with the concept. You know, what if good people do morally questionable things? Like, that's to me is the what if. Oh, what if they did that? Not necessarily what if they changed that event. Just what if that person did something bad.
Okay, we're kind of just guessing based on a couple of really vague phrases.
Well, this is all they're giving us, so.
Yeah. So I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but it's a Netflix show. Chances are it'll be worth checking out a first episode unless it looks particularly bad.
We'll wait and see a trailer, but probably.
Yeah. Speaking of Netflix, they have put in production their first Arabic original series because they can't stop just picking more countries to make.
Honestly, with the amount that they do for other countries, I'm surprised they hadn't had one in Arabic already. It's
a supernatural teen soap. Supernatural soap. That's a weird.
I was so in and then so out.
Like, it's called Jinn, right? You know, Ginn, Jinn.
Yeah, as in genies.
As in genies, yeah. Or here it actually sounds a bit more open actually, and from where it comes from here. The series, which will explore contemporary themes of Jinn mythology with a coming-of-age supernatural story about friendship, love, and adventure. In Middle Eastern folk tales, jinns are supernatural creatures, spirits, and demons. So it doesn't sound like they're specifically genies and.
Yeah.
This, but that's what I would assume it was if you just told me jinn. You're like, but yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the word soap's kind of weird there. Everything else about it sounds fine.
See, I really like the supernatural bit, and then the teen bit, I was like, okay. And then soap, just it made me uninterested.
Hey, supernatural teen shows can be good. For example, the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer is both supernatural and teen.
It can be good. They can. And then I feel like a lot of them are very generic.
Was that my third Buffy reference in the same video?
It might be. It's way too many. Just stop it. I know we had a vampire show earlier, so I'll let you get away with that one.
I had a teen supernatural show now.
That too, but just stop it. You're done. I don't even care if any of the actors show up in any other news stories. You're done.
Moving on. So, you know how we keep getting like movies or shows that were based on movies or sequels to movies or prequels to movies, revivals to movies.
What have we got now? What movie?
Sexy Beast.
What?
This is the Ray Winston like British gang movie that came out in like 2000.
Oh, okay.
Which I had no interest in ever because it's a gangster movie and I don't really like gangsters. Although I've heard good things about this one. It's got a good reputation. Although I actually just found out from looking up what the plot of the movie is here is that it's directed by Jonathan Glazer, who directed Under the Skin. So all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will try and watch this
got
at
more
some point.
interested all of a
Yeah,
sudden.
well, okay, all right.
Do you
Okay.
know what? I had a moment there where I thought you were gonna go. Yeah, I just looked it up, and there was some Buffy cast in there,
All
and
right,
you were gonna do it. No, that was actually a legitimately interesting point that you
No,
brought up.
I love Under the Skin. That is a fantastic
It's
movie.
a fantastic movie.
So the fact that that director did this is like, oh, maybe I will check this out at some point. So yeah, British gangster movie Sexy Beast is getting the small screen. It's a prequel. Anonymous Content and Paramount Television have acquired the TV rights to the 2000 film, which will tell the origin story of Gal Dove, Don Logan, and Teddy Bass, characters played in the movie by Ray Winston, Ben Kingsley, and Ian McShane. And I don't know what it was recently, but I was trying to remember Ben Kingsley's name from Blood Rain, and I couldn't remember what his name was, and it was really
I
bugging
remember
me.
that discussion.
I don't know
which could get it.
Yeah, I don't know what show it was in. I couldn't remember Ben Kingsley's name, but it's bugging me now because I was
Quite a good cast though, that trio.
Oh, it's an interesting cast, yeah. Writer Michael Callio, whose TV credits include The Sopranos and Rescue Me, is going to write the adaptation. So, yeah, the movie was followed Gal Dove, played by Winston, an ex-criminal who moved to Spain with his wife Dee Dee, to start a new life. Don Logan, played by Kingsley, is an old criminal associate who aggressively recruits him for a heist job, kind of, so he's sort of pulling him back in even though he wants out. And they're doing this for the crime lord Teddy Bass, played by McShane. The potential series will be shopped to cable and streaming networks. It'll tell the story of up-and-coming criminal Gal Dove as he forms a partnership with Don Logan, starts working for the criminal mastermind Teddy Bass, and meets and falls in love with his adult film star Dee Dee, with a adult film star Dee Dee, his future wife. So it's kind of
sounds a bit generic prequely.
It's the origin story. Yeah, it's like, you know, so the movie's about them at the end of the story. So this is like, let's go back and see them
the rest of the story.
Yeah. When obviously that the point of the movie is that it's the end of the story. It's like the aftermath of all this life, and he wants out of this life, which sounds inherently more interesting to me than the start of the story.
It does, yeah, which is probably why that was the movie.
Yeah. So yeah, it says Gal is a brilliant thief, Don is a vicious gangster, and the series will explore the pair's complicated relationship as Gal finds himself descending into the seductive madness of London, also the London criminal world specifically, and the violent and volatile decade of the 1990s. So he's not super young in it then. So it's not like teenage Ray Winston.
No, it's like a decade younger, right?
Yeah, it's 10 years younger. Well, maybe not a full decade. Maybe just be like 5 years if it's mid-90s.
That's true. This is something where I assume this will get picked up because someone will probably want this, but I doubt I'll ever want to watch it, even though it might have like quality behind it.
If it does get picked up, I think we'll review the movie before it airs.
Yeah, probably.
And if we like the movie enough, maybe we'll try the pilot. But
yeah, but it's the sort of show where it's a crime family gangster show, right?
Even if we end up liking the movie, I'd still be
cautious
about the show. But
yeah,
I mean, we'd try it probably if we watch the movie and like it. But that's something we'll probably do.
No worry about that in like 18 months.
Yeah, whenever it actually is coming to fruition. Next up, so we got a couple of network things here at the end. So, but back to having this in the regular cycle. So Fox has put a pilot order for a new drama that comes from Erin Cardillo and Richard Keith. The hour-long project is called The Family Practice. You're excited, I can tell. You can tell.
Doctors or lawyers?
Well, technically there's lawyers, but it's more specific than courtroom cases.
Okay.
And criminals. It's an emotional procedural set in the world of adoption from the point of view of an eclectic group of attorneys and social workers who grapple with their own family dysfunction while striving to create the perfect families for their clients. And that was a very long way of saying their personal and professional lives.
You know the rules, folks.
It's been a while since we had one of those.
It has, hasn't it?
And Firefly was like climbing out of my lap there, and he was distracting me, but he's finally settled down. He's on my lap still, but he's sat down.
Awful. Cats.
I'm just stroking the cat. You can't see it's off camera, but I'm a Bond villain right now. I'm petting the cat.
No, you're gonna be a Bond. You got to at least turn in the chair.
Oh, I can do that. That might scare Firefly here though.
Kind of defeats the point if you turn around. There's no cat there.
Yeah, it's Firefly, who I named after the show Firefly, which came from Joss Whedon, the creator of the hit television show Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Well, this is just getting bullshit now.
It's definitely a hat trick now. If it wasn't before, it's a hat trick now.
You're reaching because you get. This is how I know we're getting to the end of the show. There's like one, maybe two stories left, and you don't know how else to fit it in.
There's one more.
Oh, see,
So yeah, the Family Practice is like a show that we'll never watch. It's fine. So
yeah,
moving on. NBC has put in development a political murder mystery drama from the Art of More creator Chuck Rose, and director producer Julie Ann Robinson. Rose will write the as yet untitled pilot. In it, will be a series of murders are predicted on a radical conspiracy blog, and it puts the blogger in the crosshairs of an astute NSA agent. But when they find that, what they find that they might be the next target, an unlikely alliance forms between the blogger and the NSA agent as they team up to discover the truth, pulling them into a larger mystery than either of them could have ever imagined.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'll give it a little bit of credit. I do feel like, okay, so this blogger has predicted some murders, which makes them look suspicious. But then when they go to investigate it, he's like got some sort of weird source, and then they have to team up. Like, I can see potential there for like a good movie or something like that. But
yeah, but it sounds way too generic for a network TV show.
Yeah, on NBC, I'm not even remotely interested. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know, I see like there's a smidge of an idea in there for something.
No,
interesting.
there is. Like I say, for a movie, like a 90-minute movie, maybe 2 hours at a push, I can see that being good.
Yeah.
But not on network TV.
But hey, so that's the news. That's everything. We're done.
Cool.
So normally, yeah, we'll pick our favorite episode of the week at this point. So we have Better Call Saul and Castle Rock, and Castle Rock was fun, but Better Call Saul wins because Better Call Saul is better.
It is, and it says a lot that once again you forgot sharp objects.
I didn't forget. I just wasn't really including that because
I thought you were, because you did last week when you were the only one talking about it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll mention it, but you know, Better Call Saul was better. So
it was, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, no, easy pick this week. But hey ho. But that is the show. That has been the TV news. So of course, let us know what you thought of the news items this week in the comments. Like and subscribe and all that stuff. If you want to support the show and the channel and everything we do here, head over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV. You can get us on there for just $1. You get access to a few things early. You get the almost cancelled extra, which is every other month. Alternates with 121 extra. We're recording the next one of that in about a week or so's time, so that's going up soon-ish. And you can get that for $1. And there's obviously more stuff at the higher tiers. And if you can't, donate on Patreon, don't worry or feel too bad, because you can, of course, just watch the ads on YouTube if you want to support us and all the other things we've already mentioned. So all of that helps. But that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys, and we will see you next time. Have you got any vanilla? Which I almost forgot to say. Oh dear.